Welcome back, everyone. In this video, what we're going to be doing is making and freeze drying a minestrone style soup. Now this is my world famous minestrone soup because it's famous in my world. I don't know about your world, but this is a delicious soup. It's very hearty, it'll sustain you, and it's delicious. We're going to be freeze drying it. We're going to show you how to make it, but quickly. We're going to be making it extra thick because the less water you have for the freeze dryer to take off, of course, obviously, the less time it's going to take. So we're going to be seeing how much we can put in here per tray and how long it's going to take. Oh, and later in the video, I'm going to show you how to clean and care for your cube freeze dryer. We're going to take the shelves off, the seal, clean the inside, clean the shelves and everything. So everything is nice and clean for your next batch. All right, so let's get started. So we started off with a variety of beans soaked overnight and rinsed. And now we're going to add some lentils. Now we'll add some carrots and some onions, some thinly cut celery, some brown rice, and we're adding, I think we added a total of 4 cans of diced tomatoes. And we added, I think it was a total of 4 of these 32-ounce organic chicken broth. Now we're adding some organic kale. I know the pot is looking pretty full, but it does settle down a bit. Now we're adding some parsley and some minced garlic. Now we're adding crushed red peppers, thyme, basil, chives, and some bay leaves. So then I mixed everything really well. Now after adding my last chicken broth, you can see the level is right up there even with the vegetables. And now it's ready to pressure cook. And I think we pressure cooked it for 10 minutes, if I could figure out how to put the lid on. So we decided to make more and put it all together in this huge pot so we can have extra for ourselves also. And it really came out nice. So what I did here is I zeroed the trays out on the scale, and I'm adding the soup, and we put exactly 5 pounds of soup on each tray. And into the freezer it goes. It'll be there overnight, and we'll start freeze drying it in the morning. This cart is really cool. You can spin it around, turn it any way you want. It's a really nice little cart. Okay, gotta turn the button on in the back, or the switch. Wait till this loads up. Alright, now we're going to push start. And we have your choice here for frozen, unfrozen, Candy Express. And if you scroll down, you got defrost and jar seal also. Or you can go back. But our soup is frozen, so we're going to push frozen. Now it's going to ask you if the drain is closed. And it is closed. Now once the chamber reaches 30 degrees, we can load our food. Alright, so we got our food here. We can load the freeze dryer. The freeze dryer if you wait too long to load it, I think when it gets down to like 15 or 10 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere in that range, it'll shut down. It won't just keep constantly running and running and running. And if the temperature goes up, it'll kick back on again. So in other words, it doesn't just stop constantly run. All right. All right. Now that the food's inserted, we just hit yes and start. All right, guys, so I'm gonna have to stop the cycle. It's been just over 58 hours and the moisture level is showing extremely high. Now I can see that the food has shrank off from the tray. There's like a 1/4 inch gap all the way around the tray. But I can see when I look in here, and I'll show you here in a second, that the ice buildup on the bottom has gotten so much that it's touching the sides of the tray. Now what I think is happening is when the trays warm up, that ice that's touching the tray is melting and the moisture is going out, and then when it re-cools down again, that moisture goes back and touches the tray again, and then when it warms up, it keeps melting back and forth, back and forth. So the machine is sensing that the food is still wet, when in actuality it's the ice touching the tray that's melting and sending moisture into the air in there, or into the chamber, making the machine think that the food is still wet, but in reality it's the ice melting. So again, don't make my mistake. Don't overstuff your machine. I put 5 pounds per tray. That's 20 pounds of food in total. I should have put maybe 12 to 14 pounds in total. Would be okay. I think 15 would have been maybe okay too, but I would have stuck with between the 13, 14 pound range total of food. So my mistake, but at least we'll know how much the machine can handle. The food might be done, but because of that ice melting, it's sensing that the food is not done. So in worst case, what I might have to do is take the food out now, melt the ice, and then put the food back in. We're going to stop the cycle and check this out. All right, I stopped the cycle. We got to put the vacuum or the air back into the chamber. My bucket is empty here. I'm going to have to take the food out. You see the top tray and the bottom tray is stuck to that ice. See, the middle one are not. This looks done. This is absolutely done. What I'm going to have to do is heat the trays up, get the ice to melt on this tray a little bit so I can pull it out. And I think the food is done. So let me show you how to heat the trays up. So in order to defrost, go back to the start screen, push start, scroll down, hit defrost, and then he'll ask you, the food been removed? Yes. And start. Now it says 120 minutes. You could stop that, of course, anytime. Alright guys, so the trays have been heating for maybe 10 minutes.
these two are fine. This one is fine now. And this one here is okay. Yeah. I'm going to pull these out. Check out to the moisture. They look done, but I'm worried here. Yeah, over here some of that ice melted and went back into the food. So I'm going to take these out, put them back in the freezer, let this ice melt in here, and we're going to throw them back in. Yeah. Yep, definitely overloaded it. See? Ice. Put that in the bucket.
Go back to the start screen, push start. Select defrost. Now answer yes here because you removed the food. And hit start. Now again, it says 120 minutes, but you can stop this at any time if you feel the ice is down far enough to where you can pull the shelves out. Then when the defrost cycle is complete, it'll give you the screen and just hit complete. Alright, now we're going to pull the shelves out of here now that it's defrosted. I'm going to take the seal off. Put that over here. There's still ice at the bottom, but it's all detached from the chamber. But it might be stuck. Well, it's just floating around in there. I got an extra bucket here to catch the ice. Ice is slippery. Let's try this again. There we go. Now that's a hunk of ice. Oh yeah. And then down here at the bottom, we got a big old hunk of ice. There we go. Woo! Now that's a hunk of ice. Will it even fit in here? Yes. Look at that. Okay. Now I'm going to pull the shelves out. We're going to wipe it up in there, get everything dried up, and then we'll put everything back in and put the food in. Now detaching this is like any other freeze dryer. There's a little plug back here. Let me show you up close how to disconnect that. Now there's this red tab here. You gotta pull that back away. You gotta push this down also. There's a little tab here. Push the tab down and then that'll unplug. Now when you unplug the shelves, you're going to get this warning here. Don't freak out. It just still letting you know that it's unplugged. Don't worry about it. Hit continue. And actually you can shut the machine off now. Alright, so that's the inside of the chamber. What we want to do is get some paper towel or some rags and just wipe the inside out real good. And I think we're done. Might want to wipe the cord too, in case that got wet. Do the same thing with the shelves. Just wipe them down real good.
Because any moisture that's in that chamber is moisture that it has to remove. Just remember that. Now usually I do have a towel, and I'll bring the towel through there and make sure it's all dry all the way through. These look dry all the way through, so these are ready to go back in. Now we're ready to plug it back in. Now this only goes on one way. Just push it until you hear it click, and then push this red tab back down into it. Okay, now you're ready to go. All right, so now we're ready to put the seal in. Before you put the seal in, make sure the edge of the chamber here is nice and clean. Also, your gasket, look down into the groove, make sure there's nothing down in there. And if you did need to clean this, just run it under some soapy water in the groove and a little water pressure and squirt it out and rinse it that way. Now we're ready to put the seal in. Just start off on one of the corners here. And now we're ready. So as far as cleaning it, you saw me, I just wiped it all down because I'm ready for essentially as if I was putting another batch in. But eventually you will have to clean any freeze dryer. I would just use something mild like soapy, a little bit of soapy water, a little dish soap and some water, and a little bit, not, you know, a bubble bath here. Just a little bit of soapy water, clean it out, rinse it down, wipe it down real good, and let it dry out. Because remember, mold will grow where there is moisture. So if the machine is dry, you won't get any mold growing in a freeze dryer. All right, so we're going to get this started. It's basically the same process as the beginning. We're going to turn the switch on. When this loads up, then we're going to hit start. The soup is going to be frozen, and we're going to close the drain and hit yes. And when this hits 30 degrees, we'll put the food back in. All right, now we're ready to put the food in. Same process. This shouldn't take too long at all because the food was essentially done, but it's just a little moisture on the sides here and in the corners where the ice was hitting it. So it shouldn't take that long. There we go. All right. And of course, make sure the seal is clean. So our food is loaded now. We push yes and start. So we'll let this go, and I'll see you back when it's done. The freeze drying process is over. Boy, was I off. There was still so much moisture in this food. The machine sensed it, and it went on for 19 hours. I was way up. The food looked done previously, but man was I off. There was a ton of moisture in this food. This food shrank. Let me let the air back into the chamber, and I'll show you here what the food looks like. Wow, this is incredible. Check this out. Look how much the food shrank. Look at that sliding around in there. It feels like styrofoam, it's so light. Yeah, that is incredible. Big time difference. Look at it sliding around in there. So this is very, very dry now. I mean, this weighs nothing. It's all crumbly. Very, very dry. You can see that. Nice. So all I have to do here is put these in Mylar bags. I'm going to crumple them up in little, 1, 2, 3 inch pieces like this. In some Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers, and we'll seal those up. Amazing how much more moisture was in the food than I thought because of that sensor in here. I thought they were basically done yesterday and it wasn't going to take that long, but it took 19 hours. The machine sensed the moisture in the food and the ice in there. You can see there's a decent amount of ice anyways. So yeah, this machine can sense it and get that moisture out of that food. So I won't be doing any more videos like this as far as stuffing the machine, how much it can hold. I already know now, maximum for like soups, I wouldn't put more than 3.5 pounds per tray. Total of 14. The egg video I did, my wife put 6.5 cups per tray. That was pushing it too, but it did it. But I wouldn't put any more than that. In fact, I wouldn't put more than 5.5 cups if you're doing eggs, scrambled eggs. 5.5 cups, 6 max. Yeah, I wouldn't put any more than that. Alright guys, why don't you put in the comments what things you'd like to see freeze dried. I know there's a lot of things, tons of freeze drying videos out there. I am going to try the candy mode soon, because not that I eat candy, but I know a lot of people like doing the candies and stuff like that in freeze dryers. It does have a candy mode. I'd like to try it out. So there's a few things in mind that I want to do. Put in the comments what other kind of things you want freeze dried or see me freeze dry. And we'll do that. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is take a little bit out of here and reconstitute it and see if there's a difference between when I made it fresh and after it's freeze dried. Alright, so now we're going to reconstitute it, and I got some hot water here. I don't know how much to put in, so let's do this little by little. And the nice thing about freeze-dried soup is you can put as much water as you want, depending how you like your soup. Still on the thick side. Boy, I can smell this already, and this smells fantastic. This is about as thick as it was when we first put it in. So I'll put a little bit more in there. There. We're going to let this sit for a few minutes, because I know it's probably going to absorb a little more. We'll see how it comes out. So it's been about 10 minutes. I've been checking the beans. Almost there. I think 15-20 minutes would be better. But as far as flavor, just like when I first put it in the machine. And the texture of it, just like when I put it in. So that soup was amazing. It tasted exactly like it did before I freeze dried it. Just think about that.
2, 3 years down the road, 5, 10, 20 years down the road, 25 years down the road, if I'm still here, you can enjoy some wonderful hot soup just by opening one of these up. A little hot water. And just think about it. Even if you didn't have hot water, it was an emergency. As long as you have clean, drinkable water, you just put it in there, let it sit for a little bit, and you can enjoy some soup. It's nourishment, and you'll survive on it. That is amazing. Great stuff. If you're interested in the Cube freeze dryer, there is a referral link in the description under the video that would really help us out here, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you used it. There's also a discount code down there that would help you guys out. And so that is it for this video, guys. Remember the moral of the story: do not overstuff your freeze dryer. And I did it because I just wanted to see what it would do. So now you know. 3.5 pounds per tray of soup, max. 14 pounds total of soup, that is. Soup is pretty liquidy, so I wouldn't push it. Alright, so thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Yeah, that's good.